She laughed. Our kids aren't my problem. When I asked for help, I said, "You're right." When child support enforcement garnished her wages for the kids she'd abandoned, they became her financial problem. I, 34 male, honestly thought co-parenting would be manageable. Even after Veronica, 32, and I divorced 2 years ago, I figured she'd at least stay involved with our kids, Lily 8 and Mason 6. Boy, was I wrong. The divorce itself was pretty straightforward. We grew apart. She wanted to find herself, typical stuff. We agreed on 50-50 custody initially. I kept the house since I could afford the mortgage solo. She got her car and half our savings. Standard split. The kids stayed in their school district with me. First few months, she took them every other weekend as agreed. Then it became once a month. Then every other month. By last summer, she'd basically disappeared from their lives except for the occasional FaceTime call that lasted maybe 5 minutes. Meanwhile, she's living her best life, according to Instagram. New apartment downtown, constant bar photos, weekend trips, new boyfriend every few months. Living like she's 22 with zero responsibilities. The breaking point came 3 weeks ago. Mason had been asking why mommy doesn't visit anymore, and Lily needed new school supplies and clothes. She's growing like crazy. I texted Veronica asking if she could help with expenses, since she hadn't paid a dime in child support despite our agreement. Also asked if she wanted to see them for Lily's upcoming birthday. Her response? She called me, actually laughing, and said, "Look, Tyler, this whole parent thing isn't working for me. Our kids aren't my problem anymore. You wanted the house and custody so bad, you deal with it. I'm living my life now." I was stunned. "They're your children, Veronica." "Were my children. I signed my rights away in my head. Stop trying to guilt trip me. I'm done playing mom." She hung up. I sat there staring at my phone while my kids ate dinner in the next room, completely unaware their mother just wrote them off like a bad investment. That's when something clicked. She was right about one thing. They weren't her problem, but she was wrong about something else. She doesn't get to just decide that on her own. I spent that evening documenting everything. Every missed visit. Every text where she canceled, every month she didn't contribute financially, the custody agreement stating she owes child support, screenshots of her social media showing her expensive lifestyle while claiming she couldn't afford to help with her kids. The next morning, I made an appointment with my lawyer. Update 1. Well, the ball is rolling and Veronica is not happy. My lawyer filed for full custody and formal child support enforcement through the state. Since Veronica had basically abandoned the kids for over 6 months with no financial support, we had a strong case. The state child support enforcement agency doesn't mess around. They found her employment info pretty quick. She works as a marketing manager at a tech startup. Makes decent money, around $75,000 a year. More than enough to pay her share. The first she heard about it was when HR called her into a meeting. The state had sent a wage garnishment order. 25% of her income will now come directly to me for the kids. That's about $1,200 a month after taxes. She called me screaming, not laughing anymore. "What did you do?" "Held you accountable. You said the kids weren't your problem. Now they're the state's problem to make sure you pay for." "You vindictive piece of shit. You're ruining my life. I can't afford my apartment with this garnishment." Should have thought about that before abandoning your children. I didn't abandon them. I just needed space. 8 months of space, no visits, no calls, no money. That's abandonment, Veronica. She tried everything. Threats about getting a lawyer with what money. Saying I was alienating the kids. Documented evidence shows otherwise. Even trying to sweet talk me about working something out between us. There's nothing to work out. You made your position clear. The state is just making sure you follow through financially. But here's where it gets interesting. Her mom, Diane, called me the next day. Now, Diane has always been a piece of work, entitled, enabling, always making excuses for Veronica. Apple didn't fall far from that tree. "Tyler, sweetheart, this garnishment business is ridiculous. Ronnie's just going through a phase. You need to call this off." "A phase?" "She hasn't seen her kids in 8 months, Diane. She's finding herself. You can't punish her for that. Besides, you make good money. You don't need her help. It's not about what I need. It's about what the kids are entitled to from both parents." Well, if you keep this up, she might never come back to be a mother to them. She already made that choice. At least now she's paying for it. Diane hung up on me. 20 minutes later, I get a text from Veronica's dad, Robert. Much more reasonable guy, always has been. Tyler, I'm sorry about all this. Just found out what's been going on. Diane's been telling me Veronica was seeing the kids regularly. I had no idea. Do what you need to do. Those kids deserve better. At least someone in that family has sense. The kids are doing okay. I haven't told them about the drama with their mom, just keeping their routine normal. Though Lily asked me last night if mommy doesn't love them anymore. Broke my heart. Told her mommy loves them, but is dealing with grown-up problems. Not sure how long that explanation will work. The garnishment starts next month. Veronica's already posting on social media about having to move to a cheaper place, had to cancel a girl's trip to Vegas selling her designer bags. Cry me a river. Update 2. The first garnishment hit, and the explosion was nuclear. Veronica tried to quit her job to avoid paying. Her brilliant plan? No job, no wages to garnish, right? Wrong. My lawyer immediately filed a motion for contempt. Judge wasn't amused. Told her she had 30 days to find comparable employment or face jail time. She went crawling back to her job, but they'd already filled her position. They offered her a lower position at less pay. She had to take it. Now here's where her entitlement really went off the rails. She showed up at my house last Tuesday. First time she'd been here in almost a year. Not to see the kids. They were at school. She came to negotiate. She looked rough. The designer clothes were gone, replaced with regular stuff. The expensive highlights grown out. Reality was hitting hard. Tyler, please, I can't live like this. Like what? Having to pay for your children? I'm barely surviving. I had to move in with a roommate. I'm 32 years old. And I'm 34 raising 2 kids alone. We all make sacrifices. This isn't fair. You tricked me. Tricked you? You literally said our kids weren't your problem. I just agreed with you and let the state handle it. Then she pulled out the manipulation card, started crying about how she's been struggling with depression, how she never meant to abandon them, how she just needed time to figure things out. Veronica, you posted pictures from Cabo 2 weeks ago. The tears stopped instantly. That was a work trip. With the hashtag living my best life. She switched tactics again. Fine, what do you want? You want me to grovel? Beg? I'm here, aren't I? I don't want anything from you except what the court ordered. The kids needed a mother. You chose not to be one. Now you just owe money. Can I at least see them? You haven't asked about them once in this entire conversation. You haven't asked how they're doing in school, if they're healthy, what they like now. You're here about money, not them. She couldn't even deny it. Just stood there with her mouth open. When you actually want to be a mother, not just avoid payments, we can discuss supervised visits. She left, but not before keying my truck on her way out. Joke's on her, I have security cameras. Added destruction of property to the file. My lawyer sent her a bill for the repair estimate, $1,800. Pay up or we press charges. But the real kicker came 3 days later. Remember Diane, her enabling mother? She tried to ambush me at grocery store with the kids. Grandma Diane? Mason ran up to her. He still loved his grandma, even if she hadn't seen them in months either. Hi baby. She hugged him, then looked at me with ice in her eyes. Tyler, we need to talk about this situation. Not in front of the kids, Diane. Fine, kids, go pick out a candy. She handed them each $5. They ran off to the candy aisle. You're destroying my daughter. Your daughter destroyed herself. I'm just ensuring she pays her legal obligation. She can't afford to live. She can't afford her lifestyle. There's a difference. You're being cruel. Those kids need their mother. They needed their mother 8 months ago. Where was she? Where were you? You haven't seen them either. I was respecting Veronica's space. By abandoning your grandchildren too? That hit a nerve. How dare you? I love those children. Love requires showing up, Diane. You failed too. She raised her hand like she was going to slap me. I pulled out my phone. Please do. I'll add assault to the file. She lowered her hand, grabbed her purse, and stormed off. Didn't even say goodbye to the kids. They came back with their candy, asking where Grandma went. Another conversation I had to navigate. That night, Veronica sent me a novel-length text about how I'm alienating her entire family, ruining her life, traumatizing the kids, being a vindictive ex who can't move on, etc. I responded with one line: "Your payment is due on the 1st." She blocked me. Fine by me. All communication goes through lawyers anyway. Robert, her dad, reached out again though, apologized for Diane's behavior, said he'd like to have a relationship with the kids, if I'm comfortable with it. He's willing to do it properly, supervised visits at first, family therapy if needed, whatever makes it work. Finally, an adult in that family. Meanwhile, I found out through mutual friends that Veronica's been telling everyone I'm financially abusing her, that I manipulated the system, that I turned the kids against her. Nobody's buying it though. Hard to claim poverty when people saw your Cabo post 2 weeks ago. The garnishment continues. Kids are in therapy now to deal with the abandonment. They're doing better. Lily stopped asking about mom. Mason still asks occasionally, but less. We're surviving. Actually, we're doing better than surviving. We're thriving without the chaos. Final update. This will be my last update because frankly, we've moved on and there's not much more to tell. But the conclusion to this saga is worth sharing. 2 months ago, Veronica's financial situation got desperate. The garnishment, combined with her reduced salary and the truck repair bill, left her in serious trouble. She couldn't afford her share of rent even with a roommate. Her credit cards were maxed from trying to maintain her lifestyle. So she did what entitled people do. She tried to move back in with her parents. Diane, of course, welcomed her with open arms. Robert, not so much. According to him, we've developed a cordial relationship for the kids' sake. It caused a massive fight. He told Veronica she made her bed and needs to lie in it, that she abandoned her children and needs to face consequences. Diane accused him of taking my side. They're getting divorced now. 33 years of marriage ending because Diane couldn't stop enabling their daughter's terrible choices. Robert told me he's been unhappy for years, but this was the final straw. Watching his daughter abandon his grandchildren and his wife support it. Veronica, now living with just Diane in their soon-to-be sold house, got desperate enough to actually file for a modification of child support, claiming financial hardship. Big mistake. See, when you file for modification, they review everything. Income, assets, spending. The court forensic accountant found some interesting things. She'd been doing freelance marketing work under the table, had about $15 in a investment account she didn't disclose, was receiving regular Venmo payments from various men labeled as drinks and dinner. Make of that what you will. Not only did the judge deny her modification, he increased the support amount based on her unreported income. It's now $1,500 a month. He also ordered her to pay back support for the months she missed before the garnishment started, another $7,200. She had 2 choices, payment plan or jail. She took the payment plan. But here's the part that actually made me smile. Last month was Lily's 9th birthday. For the first time in over a year, Veronica reached out asking to see her. Not for a visit, not to reconnect. She wanted to post birthday photos on social media to look like a good mom. I said she could come to the party if she won. Attended 3 family therapy sessions first. 2, brought actual presents, not dollar store junk. 3, stayed the whole party. 4, no photos for social media. She agreed to none of it. Said I was being controlling and manipulative, so she didn't come. Instead, Robert came. Brought thoughtful gifts, played with the kids, helped clean up. He's been coming around every other Sunday for dinner. The kids call him Papa Rob now. He never mentions Veronica unless they ask, and then only says, she loves you but has grown-up problems to solve. Veronica still posts on social media like she's living her best life, but mutual friends tell me it's all fake. She takes photos at nice places but doesn't buy anything. Goes to clubs but nurses 1 drink all night. The lifestyle she killed her family for doesn't even exist anymore. Meanwhile, my kids are thriving. Lily made honor roll. Mason joined Little League. They stopped asking about their mom. Stopped waiting for her to show up. They've adjusted to our new normal. Just the 3 of us. With Papa Rob visiting and my sister helping out when needed. The child support money? Every penny goes into their college funds and necessities. They'll have what they need for their futures, even if it's coming from a garnishment rather than love. Veronica was right about one thing. Our kids aren't her problem. They're her legal obligation, and that's all she'll ever be to them now. A monthly deposit and a cautionary tale about choosing selfishness over family. As for me, I'm done being angry. Done expecting her to change. Done protecting the kids from the truth in age-appropriate ways. They know mommy chose not to be around, but that it's not their fault. They know they're loved by the people who show up. And that's enough. Sometimes the best revenge isn't elaborate. It's just holding someone accountable to the law and letting their own choices eat them alive. Veronica wanted freedom from her kids. She got it. But freedom isn't free. It costs $1,500 a month, plus interest. Thanks for following this journey.